Welcome back, my nomads. Welcome back to another Bitcast. We finally here. We had some technical difficulties, but we finally here. I'm here with Zach today. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing? First off, do you see my name in this?
I do see your name. You are officially baby girl.
Hey, dude, I think we have a good show today. What do you think?
I think we got a good one, man. Can I just there's so much to talk about. There's, there's so much.
Always so much to talk about.
I know, man. I mean, I feel like once the strikes were over, it was like open season and the floodgates were flying open. I mean, people are just wilding out, man. I mean, I wanted to ask your opinion about this. Taika Waititi recently said that he never wanted to do a Marvel movie. He only did it because he was poor and he just had a kid, and he figured, hey, this would be a good way to feed my kid. What do you think of that?
Wow. I mean, I guess he's never going to get hired by Disney again, right?
Exactly. I mean, I don't think he cares, but I just find that interesting because like you what's it called? You say you he even said this is an article that said it. I don't know if this is true or not. But in the article it said he even said that Thor is the worst character. And I'm like, that's interesting because you did two Thor movies, not one,
Yeah, but
two.
two. What does that say? He's a shill, maybe? That's what he is?
Now, don't get me wrong, he's an excellent storyteller,
Of
filmmaker.
course.
He just has an axe to grind against Thor for whatever reason. I mean, he's said multiple times
Isn't he
while
doing
he
a
was
Star
making the
Wars
movie.
movie?
Yeah, and he said that Star Wars movie's gonna piss people off. And I'm like, that's exactly what we need right now as Star Wars fans. But I'm just like, I think Taika Waititi is great when he's doing his own thing. I'm mad I missed his soccer movie with Michael Fassbender. It was in the theater for like a week and then it left. But
What was it?
it was Next Goal Wins with Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender's coming back, man. But I'm mad I missed it, and I think Taika Waititi is a great filmmaker with his own creations. You know what we do in the shadows, um, Next Goal Wins. I mean, there's so many things about what he does, but I think he's not a franchise guy. You know,
No, I was just Googling what he said, so I had like proper context. Yeah, it's wild. Um, that's fine. I hope you do well. Have nothing against you, dude. And maybe it's just a hierarchy of how Disney is. Maybe they're suffocating and all this. Who knows? But it is
I
what it
believe
is.
so. I believe so. Because um, the first Thor movie was great. You know,
Yeah,
it
you know
was
who did that, right?
yeah, it was the writers who did a great
Kenneth
job.
Branagh.
Oh no, I'm talking about. Let me faster. Thor Ragnarok was great.
He
You
did
know the
that.
one that he did, but he didn't write it. He just directed it. Now Love and Thunder, he wrote and directed. And it's another case of that, the director who did great with the first movie, then they get free reign for the second one, like Patty Jenkins, they don't write the first one, but the second one they do write and direct, and then it's not as good. Some people are just better directors than they are writers, but Taika Waititi is a great writer director. He's not a franchise guy. He needs to do his
No, and
own
that's
thing.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't need to do a franchise thing. Like
Yes,
Gareth.
yes.
I mean, a lot of guys are like that. It is what it is. It's fine. I feel like Gareth Edwards is like that. He did his own thing for Star Wars, but that's it. You're not going to have continuations of this stuff.
No, no. Now, I want to do a slow clap, and it's not ironic. It's a serious clap for Christopher Nolan spearheading the importance of physical media and all these other directors filing in too with their 2 cents talking about how important physical media is. Let's give it up for them. You know,
Ooh.
that being said, I am pissed off that I couldn't get Oppenheimer on 4K Blu-ray. It's sold out everywhere, and Universal is working very hard to restock the stores. But um, I'm so glad that Christopher Nolan made it known before it was released that he was working very hard on the Blu-ray and that he is not for all these streaming services and the unethical things, unethical business practices that they're doing. I'm looking at you, Disney. But yeah, I'm glad about it. I saw also that Guillermo del Toro chimed in too, as he said, "Yeah, physical media is the way to go. That's what we need to do." So, yeah, I'm happy. I told you offline a few weeks ago that I canceled Disney Plus, and I had my wife go out and buy all the 4K Blu-rays of Disney stuff that we like, so we don't have to.
You mean every single VHS from the mid 90s?
I still have those at my parents, but all the new movies we got. Now, I will say, when you want to get a movie in the right format, don't send your wife because she did buy Across the Spider-Verse in regular Blu-ray instead of 4K Blu-ray. And I was like, oh no, that's not a movie you watch in 1080p. You gotta watch it in 4K. So yeah,
Did you
but
get it fixed?
no. So I'm probably just gonna buy the 4K digitally. I know, shoot me, whatever. But or I might just buy the 4K Blu-ray and give like the regular Blu-ray to my godsons. Yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, man, I mean, physical media all the way. I'm hoping that they'll restock the stores for the 4K Oppenheimer, especially before January when Best Buy is going to stop selling physical media. Um, I kind of feel like I know how
Even
you feel.
games?
No, no, they are selling games, just not physical media
That's what,
for
okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
for movies. But
Right. I was just making sure that was,
games are
still
not
going.
too far off. You know, they're not too
I
far
don't
off.
know about that. Excuse me. I don't know about that because I know a lot of people who buy physical copies of games.
You know why? Because it's cheaper. Unless you're a PC gamer, it's cheaper to buy physical discs at GameStop than it is to buy in the store, the
I don't even
Xbox
remember
store,
last
the
time I bought a
PlayStation store.
computer game on a disc.
Those computer games on disc was gone back in like 2000. Like they stopped selling the discs versions of PC games a long, long time ago. But yeah, man, I it's sad, but I think physical media is going to come back hard, like come back
So
hard,
we're going to
fast,
be
and
like one
ready.
of those guys where, when our kids are old enough, they're going to bust in and see our like old pornos on DVD instead of VHS.
That's one physical media we don't need.
You're right. Got Pornhub. I got all those categories.
You don't need that in 4K. But yeah,
You'd be
man. I mean,
surprised. And why not? Let's go with the virtual headsets with it too.
ah,
Actually, I'm curious with that. Let's stay there, not with the porno thing, but this actually brings up a good point with the virtual headsets with media.
what's up?
Do you think? Do you think? Do you think there's an industry where there could be like cartridges in these like headsets that you would put in, kind of like how Game Boy was?
Possibly, possibly. I mean, Nintendo is still on like the whole like cartridge thing. Even
That's why
if
they don't do 4K because they can't put it on the cartridge.
that's so true. I think they're like 720 right now. 1080. No, it's like 1080 for the what's it called?
Seriously, it's like a bunch of paper clips with like a plastic thing you put inside your game. That's what they are. It's insanity. It's really fascinating that it still works. If there was
Dear
a nuclear
God,
strike, it would still survive because of how like old this thing is.
dear God, like Like, like Nintendo thought they were good. What's that system called? The newest one. I can't think. I keep wanting to say Wii. It's not the Wii.
The Switch.
The Switch. The Switch. They thought they were doing hot for the Switch, which they were for like 2 3 years, and now everybody and their moms has released a version of the Steam Deck, and now everybody's like, we don't need the Switch anymore. We can just get a Steam Deck or an Ali ROG or a Lenovo Go or
I would love Nintendo to have a virtual headset so you could play all the Switch games on a headset.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Nintendo is still in 720p. All right, calm down. You're
Yeah,
talking
but with
about
the
you're talking about a headset now. Whoa, let them get to 4K first. Let them get to a console that can stream 4K. Like, whoa, you're getting a little ahead of yourself there, man.
I want the new like headsets from PlayStation. Like, if there's a nasty scene in there, I want to smell it. You know,
Oh no, no. Pass on
you
that. Like
kill someone, you could taste their blood. You know, that type of thing.
I heard
I
there's
want to
theaters that do that. Like they do like 4D theaters. They'll do like smell sometimes. I hear. I don't know if it's a rumor, but they'll do like a smell. I'm like, I'll pass on that. You know,
sex scene smells like tuna.
oh, I'm good on it. Imagine Game of Thrones in 4D.
Ew,
Ah.
I'll never eat tuna again. Why is it Arby's? No, but seriously though, with headsets, I think that's where media is going to be at.
I don't I don't deny. I mean, because think about it. When you're a headset is focused on the eyes, so it's a smaller thing you got to cover with pixels. And when you go smaller, you can do less pixels and still have a great picture. Like every
And it's
cell
not
phone is
it's not like
4K, but
it's not like it's so expensive either compared to like what is already on the market. You get what I'm saying?
dude, like an OLED like 48-inch TV is like $1,500 right now.
Yeah, like well, what's a nice headset? Like a nice one, like $800, you know?
Some like that. Some they got monitors for like $800. Like, oh, I don't know, man.
Monitors. Oh, like computer monitors?
Yeah,
Oh, it's not
yeah.
that much.
So,
Mine was a lot more than that.
so it's like, do you want to have the thing on your eyes, or do you want a monitor? Uh, I can see it where it's like reality augmented. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the goggles and you see everything that's in reality, but you'll have like heads up display or like things you can react with. I could see that working, especially if you're working from home and like you just have your goggles and you have a heads up display of your Google document and stuff, your
It'll
email.
take video conferencing to another level.
Yeah, yeah, it would be crazy, man.
So when we finally do our business enterprise of the midget strip club we were talking about, we can
What you were talking about.
guys, just letting you guys know it's gonna be called Baby Stacks, by the way.
That's all this guy. I'm an anonymous
No, I
benefactor.
really do see I really do see these headsets like once they're perfected, I see that like a main form of consumption of entertainment. I really do.
Once it gets to like mid-range, um, consumer based, then it would be more because like look, like you know how Samsung
What do you
has
mean
the
mid
fold
range?
like you know how Samsung has the foldable phones, like that fold.
Yes. Yes.
There's still such a new technology that they don't have a mid-range option. They're still like
It's just it.
they're still like $1,800 for a phone. You know what I'm saying? For a
Yeah.
foldable phone. Until it gets a mid-range option, then it won't be as widespread. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with these headsets. Until they have like a mid-range like 400 to 600 option that's a little more portable, then it will be more accepted and more normal than it is now. Like Samsung's like foldable phones, you barely see them in like outside. Like I know one person with the flip, I know one person with the fold. That's it. That's all I've ever seen
I
of
know
them.
one person with the fold. It's cool.
It's
It's
cool.
like you said, they're not in a position right now to have like multiple different models to make it more cost efficient because that technology hasn't been used on a level to make it optimized yet to make it cheaper.
It's
Now,
such a new
do
technology.
you
They're
want it
still
to?
figuring that out.
Do you
Yeah,
want it to? That's the thing. Do you want all that technology to be super cheap to where it drives down the price? Like that might not be something they want either. Maybe
I
you
think
keep
it.
it luxury.
I think it will because when it's so expensive and when it's so new, no one tries it out. But once you have that in your hand and you're like, I can't go back, you'll find a mid-range option and maybe you won't like that mid-range option, but because you got accustomed to the technology, you're going to want it. So you're going to save up for that higher end spec one. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's like a laptop. Like my first laptop cost me a couple $100. This
Same
laptop
here. Cheap
I'm
as
on
hell.
now costs me like 2 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Oh,
gonna save
okay.
up.
Mr. Moneybags.
Black Friday deals, man. I had like 6 of them on this joint. I got it for a steal, man. Like, I got like the little thing in my browser, so I'm like, just put this coupon on it, put this coupon on it, put this coupon. But yeah, like it's like once you get a taste of it, you're like, man,
Yeah.
I can never go back. So you're going to save up. You're going to
Are you
look
talking
for
about
that
Black
deal.
Friday?
I mean, any kind of deal, like they have like those
I
July
was making an
deals.
innuendo, bro, because you have a taste of it, you never go back.
Oh my
That's
gosh, this
ruined.
guy's on a roll tonight.
I love it. It's a
This
little
guy,
frisky, you know. It's 2:15 in the afternoon in Vegas on a Friday, which means one thing. I'm going to be a degenerate gambler gambling at a gas station slot machine
dear
at
God,
4:30.
dear
No, just
God.
not doing that. I you know what I don't I've done the headsets though, and I don't know if you've ever done it. It definitely throws you off your senses and your like sense of balance and all of that. Like you're in the headset, but it cuts you off to like reality in such a way that it shuts you off from like your normal like motor functions with stuff. It's very fascinating.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm such a traditional guy when it comes to that. Like, even if movies were, even if they started to bring movies into that form and optimize them for that form, I think I would still do the screen because I'm just like a traditional guy
No,
with
I
it,
like
man.
watching screen. It's like I still get newspapers, you know, so
Right.
I like print media with stuff, you know, like this is just how I am. I understand.
Same, same, same. Like there's months where I've gone without putting a pen to a paper, and then when I do, I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's weird. It's odd because you grow up doing stuff like that, and then the way technology is now.
I don't know if I would be able to do games the new way. Like it would definitely have to be um I like it on the screen with the controller. Like
Yeah,
that's the kind of feedback I want.
yeah. I think like a Call of Duty or a Cyberpunk on in the goggles would just be too
Well, and
much
some people want
information.
that. They want to have that feeling of being a badass when they never could be or would be in their life. So, you know,
Damn, put it like that.
telling me it's not true.
I mean, you said it. I didn't. I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see. I mean, I feel like as much whenever there's something so drastically new, people just digging their heels into the old
14
media.
months, Apple's going to own Disney anyway, so we can have all these grievances with Disney, and Disney's just going to be owned by someone else. So, you know,
I mean, if you told me that like even a year ago, I would have been like, "Yo, you're crazy." But now,
I mean, I
I'm
did tell
like,
you a year ago, but you know, now they're just waiting on it because it's just plummeting to such a level that
there's also a
Bob
rumor that
Ike,
Warner Brothers is going to be sold again.
okay,
I'm like, you did all of
it's not
that.
really juicy
I'm like, you did all that. Like,
for what?
I was
Who
about to make
buys it?
I was about to make a
I'm
quick
trying to think
joke.
on who would even buy it. I bet you a company that's not even in media buys it.
Probably. I mean, you did all that retooling with the Discovery, changing the name from HBO Max to Max and all this stuff, getting rid of media.
Didn't work out.
And
Rebranding only does so much.
you're just, I mean, apparently Zaslav saved them like billions of dollars with everything that he sold
Because
and
AT&T
changed.
AT&T is the parent corporation for this, right?
I thought they sold it to Discovery, so they're no longer in the picture.
Okay. Well, AT&T is disgraced anyway because they tried doing the same thing with DirecTV and it failed. So I think certain companies should just stay out of way of like
Yeah,
media.
AT&T, man, DirecTV was a crap show, bro. Oh my gosh. I mean,
So who do you think hops on, who do you think is going to take the first step to new ways of media engagement and entertainment?
I think it would be like an Apple or Amazon, probably an Apple.
100% Apple. 100%
Apple,
Apple.
definitely Apple. Google
Because
might,
one, they got the money. They got the money. Why not? They're already dropping their virtual headsets, which are like 3K.
they're investing
So
so much into it. And really what really propelled Apple to do that was Meta, aka Facebook. Apple was like, "Oh, you want to start putting all this millions of dollars into that? Hold my beer." And and like Apple came
well,
out with their
they're
version.
worth like 15 metas. So,
Yeah,
Apple's the most cash rich and the most like profitable company in the entire planet. Like they're worth almost like $3.5 trillion.
yeah, it's wild. And
Trillion.
they're
Okay,
probably
guys,
going
that's
to
trillion.
own Disney. It'll be interesting to see what
Well,
they do.
100% because they're always liquid, so they'll just write a check for it and move on. If
Exactly.
they did buy Disney, I think that would do a world some good
I don't
because
know
Tim
about
Cook
that.
knows what he's doing.
I don't know about that. But what do you think about Dave Filoni as the new creative financial, or no, not creative, creative visionary officer of Lucasfilm?
A CVO. Love it. What
What
a
do you
name.
think?
It's good. It gives him more autonomy, and he doesn't really have the only person he has to answer to is the CEO now.
Which is still Kathleen Kennedy
She's the CEO of Star Wars.
of Lucasfilm.
Oh, is she?
She runs it all,
Okay,
my
that's
friend.
really it's a lateral move then. If that lady got shot to the moon, then it wouldn't be so bad. But
Because he talked about how beforehand, when he came aboard, he was just seeing these projects as they came out. With this new position, he's going to be able to guide them from the start. And I'm like, but you're still nothing has changed in the company. You're
right.
just making a lateral move. So all you can really do is like, oh guys, I don't know if this show is a good idea. Maybe if you went in this direction, they're like, don't worry about it, Filoni, we got it. All right. I feel like that's what's going to happen, and my thing is, what is your answer to what's that show that came out? I literally just had a brain fart. Ahsoka. What's your answer to that? Because he was the creator of that from start to finish. So if we're going to get more of that now that you're in this new position, I'll take a hard pass and I'll just step back and watch the prequels and
I think
and
Disney as a whole,
original.
like this is just an. I feel like Lucas and Marvel are just extensions of a beast that's dying.
Yeah, I mean they had
And
a good
let's
run in
be
the
real.
'90s and
Let's be real.
2000s.
Disney has not made smart moves in like 5 years.
5 years. I don't know, man. I don't.
I'm talking about business moves, all this stuff. Like you got to think of it. It's not just
That's
because
true. That's true. Especially with like the Star Wars Galaxy park that they made or
Because even
whatever.
if they had good stuff come out in 2019, 2020, which arguably was the last time they had good stuff come out, that stuff was greenlit years prior. So that
Yeah,
wasn't a
like
business
five
move
years
within
prior.
so that was not a good business move within 5 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because
So
everything that we did, like Wish, that new Disney movie Wish that came out over Thanksgiving weekend, that took like 4 to 5 years to make. So you're right, like these decisions that they're making. I mean, they just had to shut down the Star Wars cruise line. They had to shut down what cruise line or the hotel, whatever. But
Doesn't matter. Whatever it
it
is.
doesn't. I mean, the parks are hemorrhaging money. The prices are getting astronomically crazy because they're hemorrhaging
It's a
money.
compound thing, right? I
Right.
mean, it's just expensive. You know, like
Right.
normal living is expensive, and you're already asking people to spend so much money at parks or whatever it is. But people are tired of the BS content they've just pushed.
And how
It's
do you market the experience of the parks for the younger generation if the younger generation is only getting trash? There's no way you can
dude,
do it.
it's box checking stuff now. It's all their stuff is. It's just like how many different boxes can we check because diversity, and
Literally,
people are tired of it, man. Like this is for better or worse, like our culture is like this is where we're at. And like, look, you've made a couple people happy, but those couple people are happy. One are poor, they don't spend money on anything anyway, and you're not targeting the right demographics. So the people who can spend money, they don't want to see this crap. So it's where it's at.
exactly. And if the people who can spend money don't want to see it, their kids
No, I
aren't
don't
going to
see
see it.
that stuff, dude. Like it's
The
no,
kids aren't
no,
going to see it if the parents don't want to see it.
oh
So,
man. Like,
come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, what? And
let's be
then,
real though. You're marketing to the parents. You're not marketing to the kids.
boom, right
It's
there.
a it's a parent. The parents are making decisions on what they're seeing anyway. So hey, guess
Boom.
what? You got to tailor it to that. The parents are your customers. 5 years old, you don't know anything. You
And
know,
guess
like
what? We're living in a generation where kids will not know what commercials are. So how are you going to market to them if you can't give them commercials? If you can't, like, the parents don't want to watch the
targeted ads on social media, man. Like
a lot of these young
that's
kids
it.
aren't using social media though. I mean, they kind of are, but
Yeah, they are.
yeah,
Yes, they are.
they they are.
Are you kidding me, dude? TikTok is like ingrained in like every.
It's
I'll tell you
sad.
a funny story. Like
Sad.
last time when I went to New York a few months ago, there was kids in front of me, right? They were sitting away from their parents. The parents were sitting on the other side of the aisle, right? I don't know. Girl is like 7. The entire time she watched TikTok, dude, on her phone. I'm like, what are you watching? Why? If I'm a parent,
Why are you letting your
what are you
kid
doing?
be a parent? Like,
What the heck are you doing having your kid watch that garbage for hours? And it's anyway, it's a whole different subject, but that's the only way advertising is going to get anywhere is direct ads on that stuff, right?
yeah. Yeah, and people think I'm crazy when I tell them I'm not buying my 1 year old a kid's tablet or like give her my phone just to have her stop crying. Like people think
I
I'm
mean, so funny on the direct ads thing. Disney is getting slammed right now because they had targeted ads on anti-Semitic posts on Twitter or X, formerly Twitter, and people are like, "What the heck is this?"
first of all, did you really correct yourself in saying X formerly known as Twitter? Stop.
Well,
People need to stop doing
X,
that. It's so corny.
X,
But but
X.
Disney
Well, you get what I'm saying. So Twitter. All right, let's just say Twitter, right? So now they're like, so even the advertising they are doing,
is ridiculous.
you're not even doing like real targeting. It's like, come on,
No.
guys. Like
What is this?
this is
Like
this is when you need an Apple type of thing to buy them and clean it up and just like, you know what? We don't care. You're going to do a Spotify type of thing where they're not going to listen to the people they're going to bend the knee for, like they did with Joe Rogan, and they're going to do the right things, even if it may sound tough, and they're going to make more money out of it. Apple does that.
you know who does that also too? Netflix does that. Oddly
True.
enough.
Dave Chappelle, as an example.
Oddly enough, they did that.
And look how
And
well they're doing right now with their stock price.
their
Remember a
streaming is
couple
doing
years ago,
great.
we thought they were dead.
Yeah. We thought it was you was
You
like
know what
sell
it
all
was?
your stock right now.
Sound. Well, at the time you should have but they made some sound decision making, and they didn't because them, like everyone else, was really starting to feel the pressure of the outrage crowd,
Right.
and they didn't. They stuck to their guns, and people appreciated for it. And now look,
And the thing is too, um, now the strikes were mainly caused by Netflix, but Netflix
100%.
did something the studios didn't do. The other studios didn't do. Netflix listened and looked at the the environment and saw what was going on was like, oh, we need to end this strike like right now because we can't do what we did in back in '08 and just put on reality TV. People don't want that anymore. Like you can't go back. You've given people great content.
Millennials want that, but who cares?
Yeah, yeah, and they're a small minority. So it's like, no, like Netflix was like, we need to end this right now, and no other studio would listen to them. So Netflix pulled things back, stopped spending a lot of money, and kind of rode the wave of the strike, and they came out on top afterwards. I mean, maybe they didn't come out on top, but all the other studios were sinking to the point that they were all high and mighty, like, oh, we'll wait till we bleed them dry, to the point that they were like, yo, we need to get the actors and the writers at the negotiating table tomorrow, son. Like, we need content right now.
You want a hot take? Within 18 months, Apple TV is going to be the #1 streaming platform.
Maybe. I mean, because the thing about it was a year or two, we said HBO Max was our favorite streaming platform. Bro, I haven't touched HBO Max in like 2, 3 months.
I don't even have HBO Max. I don't have Netflix. I don't have any of that stuff anyway, but I do have Apple TV and Amazon. But Apple TV, man, I'm watching Monarch, by the way,
I hear it's
Godzilla
amazing.
show.
I hear it's amazing.
Oh, man, such a good show. Another show they can add. Dude, they just drop
Wyatt
amazing
Russell
content.
and Kurt Russell playing the same character in different timelines. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was like, Kurt Russell, interesting.
Perfect example, Disney. You don't need to de-age everybody and spend millions of dollars on VFX. Like you could just have two different actors play the same
Play the same
character.
guy.
Like you don't need to de-age everybody.
You
Just
know,
hire another
everything we
actor.
did until like 2016 when they decided to start doing that. I'm like, come on, guys.
I know. I was like, I blame Civil War. It started it, and then every movie. I remember after Civil
Rogue
War.
One, but I understand Rogue
Oh
One for
yeah,
one of
Rogue
the
One.
CGI choices because
It's my
the guy who did Moff Tarkin,
yeah. It's
that
my
makes sense
Tarkin.
because he had such a unique voice and look. You can't recreate that with an actor. So I understand that move, right? But everything else,
But think
come on.
about it. Think about who did it. It was Lucasfilm. Lucasfilms, for all the crap we talk about them, their VFX are always solid. Always in their TV shows, in their movies, solid.
I didn't like a young Mark Hamill in Mandalorian though when he came in and
Oh,
started doing
the
it.
first time they did that, that was a problem.
I was
But
like, why not just find an actor who looks like him, which there's plenty.
now he looked almost flawless in the Boba Fett show when it followed up. But
Oh yeah.
again, like you said, why are we doing this? Just hire somebody else. Because at the end of the day, it's distracting. I can't get past the fact that I know that's not Mark Hamill.
Dude,
It's
it looks like
distracting.
a wax figurine. It's what it
It
looks
does.
like.
It does. And as good as it looked in Boba Fett, you could still tell with the mouth and everything when it moves. I'm like, bro, just get another actor so this is not distracting anymore. Get another actor because this is just ridiculous. This is all
Sebastian
people talk
Stan
about.
would have been perfect.
That's who everybody, you're not the only one. Everybody online was like, just hire this guy to be young Luke Skywalker. And I heard a rumor that it might be, but I guess the rumor was just that a rumor. And it turns out maybe it was a smokescreen to hide the fact that they were bringing him to the Mandalorian and it being a CG head or face. Maybe they did that, but yeah, it
It's
was.
stupid.
It's dumb. Like just hire actors. It's actually cheaper and less of a headache just to hire a younger actor. You know how many times people are like, "Oh, they did such great job casting the
They
younger
had
version of
someone
this
for the
person."
Han Solo thing. Like they had someone different. They didn't CGI.
Yeah, I mean, people. All I hear about Yellow Jackets is how it's amazing how they cast the younger versions of those characters and stuff. Like, come on, people, like just stop. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. It's just distracting, and it's still not there yet. I mean, look at Indiana Jones. I didn't see the movie, but I was just rolling my eyes in the trailer at the latest Indiana Jones, like, oh, we're still doing this DH thing. Seriously, bro. And in the trailer, you could tell it's Harrison Ford playing him with a CGI younger face. Because I'm like, he's moving like he's old. Like, no offense, but the guy is like 80 years old and he's moving like he's old, but he has a young face. That in itself takes you away. Even if the face was flawless, no issues, you'd be like, yo, why is this like 30-year-old moving like he's 80? Like, what's going on? Why is he like, oh, hunched over and his voice sounds like that? Like, come on, man.
They should have just had a stunt double do it.
Or something. You feel me? Like, come on, man. I don't know, man. It's ridiculous, man. It doesn't make sense. But
I love stressing you out about Disney decisions.
yeah, yeah. Have you watched anything lately?
Um, yes, I've watched a couple things. I've been watching a lot of bad movies on purpose. Like the Nicolas Cage movie that came out recently.
Oh,
He
that's
was
bad.
like,
The Dream one.
no, it was the most recent one. It was like a deal with the devil or something like that.
The deep.
It was filmed in Vegas. It was with Joel Kinnaman.
Oh,
He was in
really?
it.
I don't even
Yeah,
know about that one.
bro, it was bad.
But then
It
again,
was
he
really
does
bad.
do a lot of like movies low key and like a lot of lower
Joel
budget
Kinnaman
movies.
was fine, but Nicolas Cage was like, I don't even know what.
I don't
But
know.
it's
He's like M Night Shyamalan. Sometimes he's good, and then sometimes he's like off his meds or something.
yeah. No, I watched 365 Days, that foreign softcore porn movie. That was good. Kind of bad, but good. Um,
God. Sympathy for
let's see. I told you about Foe, which I told you should look into, even though it's bad. Um,
right.
TV shows is really Monarch, man. Monarch is I can't stress like I was really skeptical about Monarch, but man, they hit it out of the water. Hit it out of the park, excuse me, out of this. It was so good so
That's what I
far.
keep hearing. Like I keep hearing people like,
And
"Oh,
the
this was going to be
VFX,
bad."
amazing, dude.
That's
Like
what I hear
so
too.
amazing. I'm like, what? This is a show? Like what?
That's what I hear too. Because people are like, "Yo, why are you making a Godzilla show, and you're not showing Godzilla? It's only the people we hate that." And I was like
No,
that
they show
too, but
Godzilla a little bit, but it's just like the damage of what Godzilla does. And I mean, that's the perfect thing is like you can make a show about Godzilla and you only need 10 minutes of Godzilla to be good.
kind of like Gareth Edwards' movie, Godzilla 2014.
That was the
You
good
know,
one.
yeah, it was a good one, man. But
Bro, I'll tell you what. You know he might be I feel like he's not catching lightning in a bottle anymore, but he reminds me of a young M. Night Shyamalan with how he would make his movies.
who?
Gareth Edwards in terms of like how he just films it. Like you know how like M Night Shyamalan in the '90s just had a hit after hit,
Yeah.
and like it was just like guaranteed. But there was just there was like a certain fingerprint that it's his movie. Gareth Edwards gives off the same energy. Like you see a movie, you're like, okay, I know exactly who made this without even looking it up.
Well, because he's still doing guerrilla filmmaking, man. He's still doing films like he only has like 10 grand instead of 10 million, which is great. You should still do that. And people
Does
today
he
are
actually
still
use
talking about it.
film?
No, no. With the stuff he's doing, you need digital.
You
Digital's
need
cheaper.
digital for this. Yeah.
Digital's cheaper. And he shot, like I told you, on that Sony FX3 camera for his last movie. It was only it's like a 4 grand camera. It's only 4 grand. Usually
Yeah.
for these movies, the cameras that they use are like 20 grand or 30 grand to rent for the day. But he bought a $4,000 prosumer camera and shot a feature film on it. And it looked amazing. It looked great. And if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, like he shot it like an indie filmmaker. Like he had the camera himself, he had it on his shoulder, he's shooting this, that, third. They shot on location. But yeah, like I love it, man. Like honestly, that's how I would want to shoot my stuff because I just can't sit down and look at stuff. I mean, like I'm working on the short film right now and I got my team working on different aspects of it. And I'm like going stir crazy because I want to touch things, I want to edit things, but I delegated some jobs to them and I'm waiting for them to be finished. But like, yeah, like that kind of filmmaking interests me, and I think it's the best way to go to save money and to save like bro, his movie was like what $80 million for the creator and it made all its money back and then some. I mean, yeah, it got some mixed reviews, but it was
It
a
was
good,
good.
entertaining movie. Yeah, it was good. I went to go get the Blu-ray, but it doesn't come out until the 12th. But
You know what's another good movie I saw? The Killer with Michael Fassbender.
oh, I'm gonna watch that next week. I can't wait to
Bro,
watch it. I can't wait
dude,
to
that was fantastic.
yes, I can't wait to watch it.
And
Um,
The Burial with Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones.
so where is that? I can't find that, the burial. Where's
I
that?
think that's on it's Netflix.
Netflix? Okay. Damn, they got
That
everything
was
now.
good too.
Netflix is coming
Um,
back, baby. Coming back.
yeah, dude, Netflix is coming back. I watched this movie called Asteroid City. It's a Wes Anderson movie.
Hmm. Oh, Ash, yeah, you told me about that. Yeah, you talked about that last time.
I feel
Uh,
like Wes Anderson movies, you need like a PhD in like everything just to understand what he's trying to do.
now
Which I
for
don't
me,
understand why. Like, what's the point in making something like that?
oh, the burial's on Amazon Prime. Awesome. Um, I mean, it's a very niche audience. It's like those people who know everything about one TV show down to the letter, and they all meet up at this one bar and play trivia games about the most niche in episode 35 of season 6. What coffee mug was on the table? Stuff like that. Like it's a very niche kind of
I like how
filmmaking
you
thing.
went British. I love how you went a British accent to demonstrate someone who's annoying. I love that.
God save the queen. But
It's the king now.
but like yeah, it's like a very niche kind of thing. I mean, he's very successful. His movies
Extremely.
his movies aren't my taste, but I understand that they're good. Just like how like you laughed at me when I said this, but just like how I loved the latest Transformers movie that came out, even though I know it's a very bad movie. Like not very
It was a
bad, but
bad
it's a
movie. I
bad.
watched him like I don't know what movie he saw. I wanted to make sure I was watching the same Transformers movie.
But I understand it's bad and I don't care. Whereas, like I don't uh like Asteroid City. That's not my taste, but I understand it's a very good movie. It's very well done. You know what I'm
once
saying?
once you understand how it's laid out and you figure that out, then you're like, okay, I can get it. But it's meant to be confusing on purpose because that's the greater message,
Hmm.
right? On confusion. And the other one I just saw last night, the Banshee of Inchy Sharon with Colin Farrell,
Oh, I want to see that.
bro. She and I forget his name, something Gleason. What's his name? Donald
Brendan,
Gleason's dad.
Brendan, Brendan Gleeson.
Yes,
Yeah,
fantastic, dude. Those two guys, they killed it.
yeah. The Banshee. I want to see that. That was in the running for Best Picture, I think.
I
Oh, it's
see
on Hulu
why.
and HBO Max. What's up?
Watch
Man, I need to
that.
make a list of all where all these things are. But
That's
yeah,
why
I
I
can
have what I have, dude. Because I just click on them, like, oh, I like this. This is fun.
yeah, I'm gonna check that out, man. But I
And then I also,
saw um I finished Reservation Dogs. Great,
what'd you
great
think?
show. Actually produced and created by Taika Waititi. The third season is his last season. Very sad to see
Yeah.
it go, but it's a very great show, and I think everybody should check it out. All the
Hmm.
actors are reservation people. Come for reservation. A lot of these people
You
have
mean
never
American
acted
Indian
before.
reservations? Is that
Yeah,
what you mean? Okay,
yeah, who've never acted before and stuff. But
that's fun.
three
That's
seasons,
cool.
each episode's a half an hour or like 20 minutes or whatever.
Is it an
Um,
American show? Because I know he does a lot
yeah,
of stuff in New Zealand, so they're indigenous to America, not in New Zealand.
yeah. It's filmed in Oklahoma. It's based in Oklahoma, filmed in Oklahoma, with all reservation actors and stuff.
That's
Great.
wild.
It's great. 10 episodes each season, half an hour episodes, and it was a great ending for a great show. I'm sad to see it go, but it was great. I saw.
So it ended good then? You know how like
Oh
some
yeah,
shows like overstayed its welcome? It
nah,
didn't. It ended
it
at the
didn't.
perfect.
I actually, and this is going to be a rare thing for me to say. I actually would have preferred it to gone a little longer in this season. But it actually wrapped up everything fine. I'm just like, man, I need some more res dogs, man. Like, it's great, man. It's great, man. But I saw Sisu, the World War II movie, produced by the people who made John Wick, and it's like they call it the World War II version of John Wick. And I literally just watched it today. It's only an hour and a half, and it's fun. It's a great movie. I thought it was going to be more like John Wick 1, but it turned out to be more like John Wick 4. And I saw people talk about that online. Like the trailer doesn't really advertise it because it's a little more wacky than
That's on my
what's
watch
all.
list, by the way. I have it like literally saved.
I got it. I bought it for free off of Amazon Prime during the Black Friday sales because they advertised to me like, "Oh, look at these movies on sale," and it was like, "Oh, Sisu's free." I was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" I'll buy. I don't like buying movies digital, but I'll buy this digital for free. And I watched it. It was great. Only an hour and a half. It's a great little watch. And yo, I'll watch anybody tear up some Nazis any day. You know, kill them or whatever. I'll watch anybody kill Nazis any day. you know, so it was great. It
Killing
was great.
Nazis.
And I also watched Moon per your request.
I feel like I throw nothing but dimes your way when I tell you to watch something because you're like kind of sometimes you're kind of like you're a little reluctant and you're like dang Zach I'm like I know
So
but
Moon was
Moon was
actually on
like
my list for a while.
Moon's interesting because it was like such a nondescript movie when it came out. I didn't even know it came out when it did. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And it kind of brings up because it is an indie type of film. Like, why don't these movies get more love and marketing? I don't understand.
Well, it was a movie made with from $6 million at the time, like 2009. Yes, when it came out, only $6 million, and it was a first time writer slash director, Duncan Jones, who is
He
also
did a
the
good job.
son of David Bowie. Did not know that. I was like,
What?
yeah. I was like, I know Duncan Jones from somewhere else from other movies. He also did Warcraft. He also did Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal, a very underrated movie in my
I
opinion.
like source code.
Yeah, very underrated. And I was like, yo, where do I know Duncan Jones? So I saw it, and then I was like, oh snap, he's the son of David Bowie.
Is Jones
What?
his like real last name, or is that just his pen name so he doesn't have like Bowie attached to it?
I have no idea. Is Bowie even David Bowie's real name?
I he's dead.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. I always forget that David Bowie's gone. I don't
Dude,
know.
it's just crazy, right? Like he wasn't that old. It just happened.
Yeah, like I always forget that. But
Well, let's look. What's David Bowie's real name? I know he's knighted.
of course, Sir David Bowie. But yeah, Moon was Duncan Jones's first like feature.
David Robert Jones. Yeah, Jones is his last name.
Oh,
Interesting. So
nice.
he just picked his. He's just using his given name.
Yeah, yeah, Duncan Jones.
Cool. So Duncan Jones is. Do you think that? How do you market yourself for like a first time like director or writer like this? Like how do you actually get people to watch it instead of watching it 15 years later and appreciating it?
I mean, marketing is a big thing, right? Like, for example, like nowadays, I was never really a social media person. I'm still not, but I can't really remember how it was in 2009. But like today, like A24 is a studio that made its bones in social media, right? They don't really spend money on marketing. Like anybody who's in the industry will tell you, like if you're doing a $300 million film, you're gonna have to spend close to that to just market it. So really, that's gonna cost you double of 300 million.
So
But
to break even, you need to make 600.
right. So and now there's a whole algorithm to it, but that's basically how it is roughly. Now A24 doesn't do that. What they do is they just do campaigns on social media, pretty much, and like Twitter, Instagram, whatever. They'll just do that and rely on word of mouth, and they have so much credibility from that to the point that where people are like, "Oh, this is an A24 movie." People are just going to push it and they're going to see it because it's A24. Now A24 doesn't always put out great stuff, but most of it is good. And most of it, even if it's not good, it's different, right? Like for the past 10 years, all we've gotten is pretty much superhero blockbusters and Fast and Furious blockbusters. But like A24 gives you different stuff. So they rely on social media. I feel like nowadays, if you wanted to market yourself and market your film, social media. Now, if I were to do that, I would hire somebody to do that because I am not good at social media at all. I don't like using it. I don't use it really unless I'm promoting a podcast and I just put it up there. So I'm not really in social media. I'm just pushing it through my phone. But
Hmm.
yeah, like social media, Twitter, and memes are a great way to push your stuff. If you have a great shot, you can make some memes out of it, or even if you have like a what's it called, like a watch party, let people screen record it so they can make memes about it. I mean, maybe not screen record it, you don't want them to pirate your stuff, but
Right.
maybe just like pick certain pictures, they can make their own memes. Even at the watch party, you can be like, oh, here's a screenshot of scene 3, this happened. Whoever has the best caption, we're gonna put on our social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, let people have fun with it. And I think that's the best way and the cheapest way to get yourself out there, because that's all really what these social media things are, is like free marketing platforms. So
I
one
was just loosely looking at figures in terms of marketing, 1.5 times minimum
one and a
of
half
what you
times.
spend,
Oof.
which that's a lot, dude.
Yeah, man. And that's why people I don't know if you remember, but when Black Adam came out and The Rock kept
Ugh,
saying like, "No, it made
ugh.
its money. It made its money." And I don't remember how much it cost. Let's say it was 200 million. He was like, "Oh, it made 200 million in the box office. It made its money." It's like you're not counting the marketing for it. And they market the hell out of that movie, bro. I don't know if you remember. So really, it needed to make what, like 350 million, 450, 400
Just to
million.
break even, but then
Yeah,
you would need to but what's the point of making a movie you're gonna break even? You need to make a profit, so really you need to make 600, 700 just to make it worth it.
just so you can even possibly have a sequel, which is what he was pushing. He wanted a whole Black Adam franchise going against
How much did it
Superman.
make?
Not enough. Not enough. And so yeah, people were like, yo,
393 with a 260 budget, so it lost money.
260 for that?
Mhm.
And then you got to take into account that The Rock, he's one of the most expensive. Well, he was one of the most expensive actors. So how much of
He
that
doesn't do
budget was
anything
him?
anymore. He's, like, not there.
I think that's a good thing because he was starting to saturate the market. And whenever you saturate the market, quality starts to go down. I'm looking at you, MCU. So basically, I think he's just laying low. He had some controversies that didn't really make sense at the time after Black Adam, and now he should just work on restructuring and rebuilding his image. Because the way he handled that Black Adam thing and trying to hijack the DCU and everything, it was kind of like, oh, what are you doing, buddy? You know.
So, what do you think of Moon? What's your take?
So movies like these, I love. You know, I like seeing Duncan Jones. He co-wrote and directed this movie, and he also did some VFX in this movie. This is an example of guerrilla filmmaking at its best, right? Like you don't have a big budget, but you have a big idea. How do you execute this? And so, spoiler alert for a movie that's over 10 years old. Um, it has to do with cloning. What do you do when you don't have that big of a budget to do like CGI faces? You just, I can tell that they put a lot of work into pre-production and planning out the blocking. It's what is called when the movement of characters and the camera, the blocking of every single moment, so you can tell, okay, when this happens we're going to put the camera behind this, behind the double, so that Sam Rockwell, you're, oh, I forgot his name is Sam in the movie too. I just had a senior moment. Like, Sam, your face can be in the camera. The camera's going to be here. And then when you move this way, we're going to want to see your face again. So you'll have to switch and you'll be playing Sam B instead of Sam A. We'll have the camera. Like, you could tell they had to put so much planning into every single shot when both of them were on screen. There's
Hmm.
times where you can tell that they just shot Sam A and they timed the dialogue, and then they shot Sam B with a still camera and stitched them together. And then there's other times where it looks like they had a motion controlled camera rig because the camera was moving. And so they just did Sam A, they recorded the movement of the camera, then they did Sam B, and then they did a clean plate of the camera moving with the same motion and then put them together. There was one shot because the whole time I'm like, oh, they're saving money this way. You save money, you do this without having the characters touch. There's one shot where they're talking face to face, the camera's at the side, and he touches him on the stomach and the head, and he does it repeatedly. I was like, oh, that's the money shot. That's the shot that they spent more money on and they spent more time on, where they
All
had to
right,
put his
tell me
face.
how you would do that, because I know exactly what you're talking about. Because
In.
with something like this, like there's a lot of like there's a lot of different like distractions going on, so you can kind of so it's believable. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different movie magic things happening in terms of editing and angles and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and it reminded me of a movie, right? And I just looked it up. It came out 2 years after Moon, called The Devil's Double, starring Dominic Cooper, where he played the son of Saddam Hussein and the guy that they did plastic surgery to make him look just like the son to be his double. This movie came out 2 years after Moon, and I remember this movie vividly. It did not do a good job of the whole doubling thing. They were a little too ambitious with their shots, and I don't know if they didn't plan it or they thought the technology was good enough to do it, but there was a lot of times where they took like a 2D render of his face and just pasted it onto the double, and it didn't look good. Whereas Moon, they did a great job and planned out all their shots. And I'm sorry, I just had a brain fart. What was your question again? How do you do that? Is what you said?
How did you do, like you said, the money shot? Like what's
Oh yeah, yeah,
involved?
yeah. So if it was me, now I my VFX background is a little limited, but I would say you have a controlled camera, you have the camera right there. Obviously, you're going to need a clean plate where the actors are not standing there, so you shoot that. Then you shoot Sam playing as Sam A and the double being Sam B. You try to do it timing wise exactly how you would do it the second time. So you would just have them act out the scene. Then Sam Rockwell would be Sam B, and the second time the double would be Sam A. And you have them act out the scene again and try to get the timing exactly right with the hand touching him, with the face touching. And then you look at both of them and you see, so Sam A was touching Sam B. So I would do the face replacement on Sam A because Sam B was the one, because he was touching his face, his forehead. He was like, why are you so sweaty? What's wrong with you? So Sam A, you would just paste, like you would 3D track his face, and then you would try to put Sam Rockwell's performance over that, but you would have to track his head. And I noticed in that scene, Sam A's face was a little darker, like the lighting in the room was a little darker. So obviously they planned out the lighting to be a certain way so that you could kind of hide the, you know, if it wasn't as good as you wanted it to be, you can kind of hide it with the shadows on the face. So it's like a whole thing, like a whole collaboration. And I saw that Duncan Jones has a VFX background and he did a lot himself.
So
So
he's
he
smart.
so he knows how to do this, right? And even with the robot, Gertie, like even with the robot, that was CG, and I could tell it was CG, but it was so well done.
Dude, no, it was. Had no idea. Couldn't tell.
No, no, sometimes it was a practical thing, like the close-ups, but like when the arms touching him, when it's going up and down and touching him on the shoulder, like those are CG shots. And I'm like, yo, that's so well. Like, I can still tell, obviously, but it's so well done. It didn't distract me, right? Like
Especially from 15 years ago.
exactly. Fast forward to what was it last year with Love and Thunder when the little floaty head with the, that was so bad.
Was it bad on purpose?
No, it was bad because people it's because people don't the studios don't give the VFX artists enough time to do these all these VFX shot.
Oh,
And
you talking about the floating angry head? Wasn't that Ant Man?
no, no, I'm talking about remember when the kid in Love and Thunder calls Thor, like he does like a mental call to Thor and you can see his head floating.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was thinking more of the character in Ant Man.
Oh,
You
that's
know, like
another
the ang-
example. Bro, that that was so bad. Like, but again, I don't blame the VFX artists. I blame the studios because Marvel is notorious for not planning things out in pre-production and then shooting things and then changing things after they're shot. And they're like, "Oh,
because they
just
think a
do it in
computer
VFX."
can hide everything, and it's like, dude,
Yeah,
these things aren't magicians. You know.
exactly. Like so, back to Moon. Like I loved Moon, man, and I loved the storytelling and I loved how they did it on such a low budget and it worked and it didn't distract me. The scenes with him interacting with himself, the scenes with him out in the what's it called? The moon when he's driving the car, those look like
Yeah, the rover.
miniatures. Those look like miniatures that were enhanced by VFX and I'm like that's the way to go. That's how you do it, man. You know, get miniatures, just enhance it a little bit with VFX, and it's all good, man. Like I thought it was a great story. I thought Sam Rockwell was great. I thought it was kind
He
of,
he was brilliant. He's a good
and
actor, man. He's like a guy that people don't talk about.
we talked about this not too long ago about how he's one of those underrated actors. You know, I was surprised he didn't do his little dance that he's famous for. You know, his little two step.
My favorite movie by Sam Rockwell is Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I love that movie. It's
Never
so well
seen it.
done.
Never
Oh
seen
man, it's he's fantastic. I think the best thing I like about Moon, my favorite scene was when he called he thought was his daughter.
it. That was crazy, man. Especially how that ends.
And then he finds out that his wife was dead. So he has all these feelings, his emotions of someone who to him isn't doesn't matter, doesn't exist, you know, but it's real to him and him like reconciling that, like that was tough.
I didn't see it coming when he's on the phone with her, and then she's like, "Dad, someone's talking about mom," and you hear his voice. I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And he just cuts the call, throws the laptop away. I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy." So that means that a moment like that puts all these thoughts in your head because you're like, "Wait, he's a clone, but the original is alive, so that means he knows about it, or does he not know about it, or does he know about it and he's getting paid because he gave him
I think
his
he I,
genetic
th- I
code?
think they talked about how he knew about it
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
he
set
knew
it
about it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, he set it up. Yeah, I read all that stuff after I finished the film about how like he was getting paid to do that. Like he got paid passive income for giving
Yeah,
them
or
his
the
genetic
mining
code.
operations, yeah.
Yeah, like he had to do the 3 year run, but he after that 3 years he gave them permission to you know keep it
Dude, how
going.
it just turns them to goo is just insane.
That's crazy. So there's two theories on that end I saw. after the movie. That one theory is that all the symptoms that he's experiencing when he's dying is the symptoms of radiation poisoning, and that the company poisons his food with radiation or whatever. And then there's another theory that the clones have a 3 year lifespan.
I
And
think it's a 3-year lifespan.
that's what I thought until I saw at the end of the movie, I saw in the trivia that they said um, one factor could be it's radiation poisoning. So that it depends on what interpretation depends on if the Sam who got away and I read that that thing he was holding when he was launched off was helium-3, which is worth so much money on Earth, so he could live out his life in luxury. Um, did he have 3 years to live, or was he just a regular person, a regular clone who could live to a regular old age? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
So if it was a 3-year lifspan, like I think the reason why they would set it up that way is because you don't want them getting to know anything better. Because 3 years is just enough time for them to, if they're inquisitive enough, because you can tell everyone had a different personality, that they can figure things out.
yeah, plus 3 years, you don't have to do three over 3 years worth of video calls. Like they talked about how, well, the trivia talked about how the video calls were staged, and with his wife for the most part. And they also talked about how like 3 years, like imagine being alone for 3 years by yourself, no contact with anybody. You're gonna go crazy. So maybe they built in the 3 year span because at 3 years his mental stability would deteriorate.
That's why they have the robot.
Yeah, yeah. But after a while that gets old. And so yeah, there's a lot of things that goes into that, like why 3 years is the goal and why anyone would take that job, even if they were giving you like $1 billion, would 3 years of doing that by yourself? But dang, could somebody come up there with me, man? Like, what's going on? But yeah, man, it was great. I thought his interacting with his younger self, well, Sam B, Sam A, whatever, was
Yeah,
great, man. Just going on, and then they had like a whole fight scene. They're just arguing. He's like, "Hey,
ridiculousness.
man, hey, what was that, man?" He's like, "Oh, I
His
thought
whole
it was."
model, like his whole town model thing, was destroyed in the fight, and
I thought it
dude,
was great.
yeah, I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, and
There
it's.
needs to be more movies like that.
Are you saying there needs to be more hour and a half movies, or?
No, yeah. Why not? I here's the thing, I don't mind it because I could put it on at like 6 o'clock and still have watch it right before I go to bed, and it's like not overwhelming, like Oppenheimer, you need to start at like 12 o'clock
Yeah, yeah, it
in the
was
day.
great, man. I mean, even Caesar, like I said earlier, was an hour and a half. So I didn't feel like I was my whole day was gone after watching it, you know. But again,
Right.
movies like Oppenheimer, even though they're long, they're not overstaying their welcome, in my opinion.
Ah, dude,
But
I'm telling you right now, that movie, top five
yeah,
for me now.
but I want to get it on 4K Blu-ray. But yeah, man. What can I say about Moon, man? It was great, man. That's you know what I always talk about how some movies are so bad you could have a whole class on what not to do as a filmmaker on them. Moon is a great movie that you can have a whole class on what to do on a smaller budget.
Especially with a limited budget, because
Hmm.
imagine if they had a big budget, man. Well, then again, like I feel like guys who have huge budgets, they kind of like they use that as a crutch to like they feel like they can use that to kind of like seal over, the fundamentals of movie making so they don't have to do it. Like it compensates for laziness.
Limitations breed creativity. I'm telling you, man. And the fact that they only had $6 million and they did all of that is
I mean,
incredible.
how much did Sam Rockwell make if it was only 6 mil?
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Sometimes these actors they'll do a part for less than their take just because they really like what the story is and stuff like that. They'll do
So
these
to pay
smaller
him
parts.
100K and that's it, he's okay with it.
I mean, you never know. I mean, he might have not been hurting. I mean, what was it? Robert Downey Jr. did the Judge while he was Iron Man in Marvel, getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play Iron Man, but he did the Judge for next to nothing. And he said the Judge was like one of his favorite films of all time. And he
Dude,
would
that's a fantastic movie. Have you seen that?
no,
Wow.
I gotta check it out. Gotta check it
Jeez,
out.
dude, that's
I think that came out
there's a
after
reason why he
Endgame.
got nominated for that. I think he got nominated for that. He should have if he didn't.
I think he that came out after Endgame because he said I will never do a big budget movie after that. And I think that was after Doctor Doolittle too.
Well, he
Uh,
lied because Oppenheimer.
was that a big budget? What was the budget
Yes,
for Oppenheimer
yes. Yeah, let me look.
for a talking head movie? I feel like the budget, if it was a big budget, most of the budget went to the cast.
100 million.
That's not bad. Think about it. The creator was 80.
Yeah,
It's
but
not bad.
I think most of Oppenheimer wasn't the cast. It was the explosion of the nuclear reaction and hiring people like, how do I do this in a safe setting?
Yes, because they didn't do it they didn't use
No, none of
VFX.
that was special effects, by the way. That explosion was not special effects. That was a real nuclear reaction.
No, it wasn't. It was not. Look at the behind the scenes. It was some practical trickery, you know.
Really.
Check it out. Check it. It's very clever how they did that. Check it out. But I've seen videos of it. But it wasn't a real nuclear reaction. It was practical like explosions, but not a real nuclear reaction. And I think that rumor helped sell the movie because
Really.
so many people, including myself, was like, they let him do a mini nuclear reaction. What kind of craziness is this? Nah, it wasn't a real nuclear reaction. It was just like it was like regular stuff that they use for explosions, and they also did some like crazy like micro shots or no macro shots of like electrical stuff and stuff like that. Like, and they put it all together. Well, they did. Let me correct it. There is some VFX because they use VFX artists to take those practical elements and composite them into shots for the movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at it how it did it right now. We dropped silver particles in it, molded metallic balloons which were lit up from the inside, had things slamming and smashing into one another, such as ping pong balls, or just had objects spinning. We had shutter speeds, short shutter speeds, wide negative color, negative overexposure, underexposure.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Well, he did a fantastic job because that thing, he sold it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
He still
So
had to have hired like experts to even make it look like that.
yeah, same thing on Interstellar. He had to hire all those
Yeah, the
consultants.
guy who drew the black hole and like modeled it, and he was like, "This is what it looks like."
Yeah, man. And it wasn't just one guy he did research with for Interstellar. He did a bunch of like physicists to and mathematicians basically too
You
because
think
they couldn't.
Interstellar is his best movie?
Nah, nah. It's a great movie, but nah. I mean, we talked about this. I mean, The Prestige for me is
Definitely.
whew, it's up there, man. Like I can watch that 1,000 times, and I almost have.
So Sam Rockwell needs to be in a Chris Nolan movie then.
He's got to. He's got to, man. I see it coming, man. I see it coming.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the MCU should have brought him back as Justin Hammer. He could have been
Ah, God, that was great.
he could have been like a big
That was
villain
fantastic.
for the MCU. I feel like he was
Same with Guy
underutilized.
Pearce.
Yes. Yeah, man. Guy Pearce's character was awesome, and they kill him off in one movie. You know, the MCU was great when it first started out, but it did waste a lot of good villains like Ultron. Um, I guess you can call him the why do I want to say the Mando, not the Mando, the Mandarin. Guy Pearce's character was the true Mandarin. They wasted him. They wasted a lot of people. Malekith from Thor 2. They wasted him because
Yes.
he's a beast in the comics. He's a beastly Thor villain. But yeah, like they waste these villains, and I feel like that title, even though Age of Ultron was not as bad as people say it is, I feel like they wasted the title because it made you think that Ultron was going to be a reoccurring character like he was in the comics, and they killed him off in one like one movie. I was
Speaking
like,
of this, then Nolan and Marvel, get your thoughts before we go. Killian Murphy as Doctor Doom.
Marvel wishes he would sign with them, okay? Because he would be
He
so
would have
damn
to
good.
be the ultimate villain. They would have to make a whole saga around Doom. You
Bro,
know that because Doctor Doom is like the it bad guy from Marvel. Like he was super powered.
let me be clear, right? Because there's talks of getting rid of Kang for Doctor Doom to fix
I
their
would love
problems.
that.
Their problem isn't Kang. Their problem is them. All right,
It is them.
Kang
The
would have been a
character is
great
so
character.
underwhelming. It's not even fun to watch. It's like, dang, this is supposed to be a villain. How is this supposed to be like the guy that's supposed to be so much more crazier than Thanos? I don't understand.
Every time he shows up, he gets beaten. And it's like they're trying to make him into this big scary villain. Be like, "Hey, he's like a cockroach. He can never die. Oh, there's more of him." Like that doesn't make me afraid of him. He's an annoyance. He's not a big villain. He's an annoyance. Marvel's problem isn't Kang. It's themselves. Now, if you want to bring Doctor Doom, I'd rather them not bring Doctor Doom if they just want to replace him with Kang. I'd rather them bring Doctor Doom in his own thing. Don't make him a cure for your disease because it's not going to work. Make him his own thing. Bring him in because it's the right time to bring him in. Don't bring him in to fix something, because then you're just going to waste Doctor Doom, and I'm going to be even more mad because Doctor Doom, come on, man, Doctor Doom is the guy. Like this guy don't play. Like, come on, bro. Like, I can understand what you did with Loki, make him a good guy. I can understand what you did to Ultron. But Doctor Doom, bro, I feel like you should wait. I feel like you should wait until the Fantastic Fours had their movie, until X-Men have come into the MCU, until the MCU has righted their ship, then bring Doctor Doom, and then it's like all hell breaks loose. Like, oh
You
shit.
can't have a Fantastic Four movie without Doctor Doom. That's just
You could, but the reason I say that is because I feel like they're gonna mess it up. and I don't, and I want to see what they're gonna do with Fantastic
bro.
Four.
Half of the appeal for the Fantastic Four is Doctor Doom
I think it's
and
more
the
than
Silver
half.
Surfer. Yeah, that's the main reason why I care about it. Let's be real. It's
All
the
right,
villain.
before
He's the best villain that Marvel, I think, has personally.
heroes are remembered because of their villains. Let's just say that. But before we go, I gotta say this. How do you feel about Anya Taylor Joy, rumored to be cast as Silver Surfer?
I didn't even know that was.
It's a rumor,
Uh,
but
why?
let me say this: there's another rumor. So there's a rumor on
Why?
top of this rumor. There's another rumor that she's not going to be Norman Rad, the
Oh,
Silver Surfer that we know. She's going to be
mm,
another female Silver
no,
Surfer from the comics.
no. What? What? Why
Because
do we
there
have
is a
to just have
female.
her do her? I know there is one, but
I know.
why? Just let's just like bring all these characters in before you start adding the additional ones. Like you gotta set the framework right. And I think the biggest issue they've done for the last since Endgame is they're bringing these guys in these debuts and they're just screwing them up where it's not even salvageable.
They're doing cameos of these characters, and then they're just like either killing them off or making them pointless. And I'm like, don't do that for
That's what
these.
I did not like about Adam Warlock's character um in Guardians of the Galaxy because Warlock is a badass character and it was just not utilized the right way.
So for the record, I did like Guardians 3, but I totally agree about Adam Warlock, especially the way they built him up. Like Remember Guardians 2 at the end? She was
Yes.
like,
Warlock is supposed to be
the
the
Warlock.
that's
And then
yes.
everybody was like, oh snap, Adam Warlock is a beast in the comics. Like he starts off like an anti-hero and he goes ham and yo, we can't wait. And then he's just like, Mother, I am the Warlock. I will not be talked to like that. I'm like, this is funny, but
It's like with Scarlet Witch, like they should have had her like go the extra mile and being bad, like fully commit her to being bad.
the Hulk and Scarlet Witch should have been
Fantastic.
totally.
First off, that was a great saga, by the way, because she like cursed him and he didn't know what was real and was not real and stuff. Like that was amazing.
And I still say that's how you could get to World War Hulk. Yes, he's not the same Hulk from the comics, but Scarlet Witch could have been that catalyst to turn him into that with all his paranoia and messing with his mind because she's going crazy about her kids or whatever, her husband or whatever. And they killed
Kid.
her, they turned him into a sap. Even Scar, his son, shows up and I didn't watch it, but I've seen clips of it online of him coming into She-Hulk and he's got a man bun and he's like I have I love Daredevil, but I have no faith in this show coming up. I have no faith in any project. I have no faith in any Lucasfilm project. But hey, we still got the old stuff. Sometimes I like to rewatch like Civil War and Infinity War and Black Panther. I like rewatching old stuff and rewatching old Star Wars stuff to, ease my mind and to remind myself that good stuff like this can exist, you know,
Yes.
just not existing now. And which
Just
is
not right
fine
now. No.
because we
We're
had
not
it.
meant to.
We had it and we were spoiled. So I can, because I have the physical media, I can go back and I can watch all this stuff in 4K resolution. I can see Thanos and all the pores on his skin when he snaps his fingers, and I can love it all over again. But yeah, that's all I can say. My Nomads physical
All I can
media,
say too.
so you can rewatch all the good stuff. Check out Moon. You know, if you don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, buy one now because there's a reckoning happening. Uh, this was another good one, my Nomads. Peace, be creative.